No, no, the frame dropping is crazy. What's going on? Working for me. I don't know. I started up again and I instantly dropped like 97 frames. It's stable. It's stable for now. Attempting to reconnect. I just want to know what the problem is. Let's see. What am I looking at? I was like, it might be my computer. No, everything's running just fine. 2950 49. Yeah, I'm not even pushing 50 on any of my components right now. Everything's actually perfectly fine. I'm literally running 90 down, 40 up. My computer's not like shitting itself, but it was still dropping frames. I just don't get it. I really, I don't know. Maybe it might actually be Streamlabs. You know, it might really be time to move on from Streamlabs. I was like, I don't really want to do that, but it really might be time. First stream back and everything is borked. So true. Okay. Anyways, I think everything is fine now. Did you all miss some of the things that I said? Stream Elements is so much better. I'm gonna have to do that. I know I missed them. First stream back, you're getting banned. Stream ended for me. Okay, but like, did you hear the whole story that I was giving off? Were there any like big cuts or anything? Most of it. Oh lord. Small PP is where I remember. Oh my gosh. Should I just restart the story? Would that just be for the best? Ye? Good lord. Inquire. Okay. Start to introduce Bragg. Make our girl work for a paycheck. I actually don't have any editors anymore. I don't have any editors anymore. Yeah, the editors have moved on to other roles. That's the last I remember too. Okay. Okay. Is raw donging it? Of course. Listen. Okay, I'm just gonna restart this one because there was just way too much stuff going on. Okay. Let's restart because I really didn't even get that far. All right. So let's just talk about this. You all remember the grab him by the pussy tape that made Donald Trump famous back in 2016. Okay. That was when he was top of the world. All right. He was polling relatively well against Hillary Clinton. And that clip came out and things started to change a little bit. All right. There was a disturbance in the force. And when that clip came out from about 2008, around the 2016 election, obviously released to harm his campaign because he's a horrible guy. And the idea that he could just dab up women's pussy whenever he wants because he's rich and famous is obviously a really garbage thing to do. As he tried to play that off, somebody who he had an affair with behind his wife's back, named Stormy Daniels, who is an adult film actress. I think you can put that together for yourself, okay? She went to a newspaper called The Inquirer, okay? But her problem was that the Inquirer was actually in Donald Trump's pocket. The head of the Inquirer personally loved Donald Trump. He was a grade A certified card carrying Trump gagger. He was a Trump sloppy topper. All right. He was absolutely a Trump throater, and he would do anything for that man. He, instead of running the story like a normal newspaper would, decided instead that the best course of action would be to buy the story from Stormy Daniels to be able to kill the story so there it wouldn't go out. So he and the Inquirer had the only rights to be able to run the story, and he decided to never run the story to be able to kill it. And then he decided to link up Stormy Daniels with Donald Trump, but this time non-sexually. This time in an illegal business maneuver that we like to call a crime. What happened is that what happened then is that the Inquirer reached out to Trump's campaign, and Donald Trump's personal fixer, Michael Cohen, you've heard a lot of him, the guy who's completely turned on Donald Trump, the giga rat. I'm talking buck tooth. He likes to eat cheese. All right, he has a tail. He hides it under his suit. Absolute rat. He's the type of rat that would make 6ix9ine shed a tear. Okay, complete rat. This guy decided to go. This guy decided to scoop up money from his estate and give it to Stormy Daniels to, and in this illegal term, shut the fuck up. Then he went to his boss, Donald Trump, and said, give me the money to pay this back. Donald Trump took the money from the business, paid back Michael Cohen, and then lied on the business records to say it was just some legal fees and, some business transactions. That's a lie. That wasn't true. That wasn't what happened. And so, after the story came out afterwards, after the catch and kill failed, and when it was made clear that Donald Trump had falsified business records about 34 times, then Alvin Bragg, who ran on throwing Donald Trump either in jail or getting a conviction on Donald Trump on federal charges, decided to jump onto this case. Okay, and now this was a dead case. This is a dead case for a long time. The DOJ specifically said that they didn't want to charge Donald Trump, not because he was innocent, but because it would be a hard case to get done. Many people thought this is one of the lowest level cases, not only because it was a misdemeanor, but because it would be really difficult to prove exactly what he did if you wanted to upgrade the case. Alvin Bragg, as the S-tier Donald Trump hater, decided to take on the case and make it as terrible as possible for Donald Trump by leaning on a whole bunch of untested legal theory and also very obscure legal law that hasn't necessarily been touched on, which I think is very funny. No, not an F again. I just got started. I just got here. Okay, I did see that. Couple frames drop. I think we're good. I think we're good. All right. Yeah, Alvin Bragg on his Kendrick shit. Yeah, I hate the way that you talk, the way that you walk. I hate the way that you dress. He absolutely hates him. Absolutely hates this guy. Now, does that mean that this case against Donald Trump doesn't mean anything or that it was illegal to bring up? No, absolutely not. You'll hear a lot of conservatives complain that this was politically motivated or that Donald Trump was treated in a bad way, or that nobody else would have had this case brought up against him. But what you're not hearing is that he didn't commit those crimes, which is something that you can't say because we all very much have very clear evidence that he did. With this being said, Alvin Bragg decided to put together his dream team of Trump haters to be able to craft a case against Donald Trump that would lead to his downfall. And they did an okay job. It was like an okay job. It definitely could have been way worse. Things could have ended up way worse for Alvin Bragg, I'm going to be honest, but there was a huge thing that Donald Trump was not expecting. We'll talk about that here in a second. Okay, we'll talk about that here in a second. So one thing you may be wondering, okay, is I said that this was a misdemeanor. The falsifying business records are indeed misdemeanors, okay? But here's the problem. Donald Trump is a convicted felon. So how in the world do you get from misdemeanor, 34 counts of misdemeanors, to a convicted felon? And here's what Alvin Bragg did. He was digging deep into New York law, and he found the golden ticket. Okay, and what that was the legal theory that if that when it comes to falsifying business records, if you then try to falsify those business records specifically to conceal a crime that you were doing, now that gets upgraded into a felony. That is a felony. All right. Now, what crime did Donald Trump commit? Now there's a couple. There can be the legal theory in New York specifically that he was committing a crime to interfere with the election in an illegal way, and that upgraded it to a felony. It could be the fact that he was falsifying business records to falsify business records. So two misdemeanors smashed together now instantly become a double crime felony. That one as well. There are many things that you could lean on. He wrote a couple things, but he did not charge him with another crime. And that's something that Alvin Bragg did that a lot of people don't like, and that is a little shaky. That he got convicted of committing a crime in the course of committing another crime without that other crime being something that he was actually convicted of, which is something that is legal in New York. It is something that you theoretically can do, but it's not something that's actually been tested before. Now it's going to be tested. Good job, Donald Trump. Legal guinea pig. Very interesting stuff. Is that going to hold up in court? I don't really know. Donald Trump's lawyers actually suck doodle ass. So the fact that they may not be able to get him out of that is very possible that he may not be able to escape this because his lawyers are so doodle ass. That's a legal term. Just so you know, that's a legal term. But there's a bunch of stuff against this case that a reasonable person can believe is a problem, and it all stems from Alvin Bragg stretching this case as far as possible to get to a felony conviction. Now, once again, was he stretching? Absolutely, Stretch Armstrong. Was it illegal? Well, Donald Trump's convicted, wasn't he? Now, there are criticisms of these convictions. We talked about some of them, but we can talk about some more here because I think they're really interesting, especially if you want to send this video to somebody else who specifically is wary about Donald Trump's conviction. I want to go over some of these because you'll see a lot of conservatives talking about this who want to completely discredit all this type of stuff. Right? So I think it's a little important. So outside of that, you're going to hear people talk about the statute of limitations. Okay. Once again, falsifying business records has a statute of limitations in New York of 2 years. And yes, as some of you may know, 2016 is far more than 2 years from right now. Okay. So how in the world was Alvin Bragg able to bring this case up against Donald Trump if that's the statute of limitations? Remember how I said that if you upgrade it to a felony, remember how I said that you can upgrade this case to a felony if you do it in the course of trying to commit another crime? Well, also the statute of limitations changes once it reaches a felony and now moves to 5 years. But some of you, the more inquisitive type, may know that it's also past 5 years from the statute of limitations. Okay, it's actually been 8 years since 2016. So how in the world is Alvin Bragg able to bring up this case? Well, here's the thing. I'm telling you, he was great. He pulled up the floorboards of New York legal theory to be able to catch this guy. And it's the hating is insane. Okay. In New York, the statute of limitations only exists when you're in New York. Okay. So when he decided that he was going to move from Trump Tower to Mar-a-Lago in Florida, the clock stopped. So Alvin Bragg argued that since the clock stopped and he spent some years in Florida instead of New York, then the statute of limitations stopped, meaning that he's now able to charge him because the statute of limitations, even though it's been temporally more than 5 years, the amount of time that he's been in New York since 2016 has been less than 5 years. So that's why he's able to charge him. Are we still doing okay? I think I saw a couple more frames drop. Yeah, technically legal. Yeah, all of Alvin Bragg's stuff pertaining to Donald Trump is all technically legal. That's such a weird technicality. Thank you, New York. He's it's he's such a hater. It's so funny. He'll do anything against this man. Wait 1 second. Oh, and once again, all of this is technically legal on Alvin Bragg's on Alvin Bragg's standpoint. All right. Something else that can be brought up against Alvin Bragg's case is really interesting, and it's what I'm going to call the stupidity clause. And now I know it's going to sound a little mean, but I'm going to be completely honest. I'm summarizing it, but here's the thing. Donald Trump in court could have argued that he was too stupid to know that he was committing a crime. And now I know that sounds like a crazy cop out, but in New York, specifically when it comes to this case, it could have saved him. So basically, what he could have argued is that he had no clue that when he was running, he had a well, he could have argued that, I'm not really well known for knowing all the ins and outs of the legal theory. I had no clue that I actually was breaking any laws. And when I was falsifying those business records, I had no intention to break any laws. So you can't upgrade this to a felony because I wasn't even trying to commit another crime. I was just doing my thing. I'm a rich guy. I love fucking hoes and I pay them off to shut up. And that's just my thing. I was just doing it. I wasn't trying to affect the election. I wasn't trying to conceal other business records. I'm Your Honor, I'm stupid. And I'm not going to lie. That is an actual tangible legal defense that he could have used that his lawyers just decided not to. Another thing, Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is his legal counsel as well. While when he back in 2016 when he was his fixer, Michael Cohen is his job is to talk to Donald Trump and tell him the legality of the things that he's doing and help him out legally. If Michael Cohen says that this is something that I can do, then it's not his fault. If something bad happens and it's a crime, it's Michael Cohen's fault, not my fault. That's another thing that he could have argued, but he just didn't. Again, that his lawyer was stupid and not him. That's something that he could have argued to help himself. Your Honor, I'm a little dumb. And also, one last thing, okay? One last thing is that, well, Judge Juan Merchan, the judge in the case, is I'm gonna be honest, a prolific Joe Biden donor. He gave Joe Biden, hold on to your seats, chat, $15 in 2020. And so he could be legally corrupt and also in the pocket of Big Joe. So he might not be somebody who can accurately call this case because he is a Joe Biden mega donor. He did give an individual contribution of $15 to Joe Biden in 2020. I'm not that smart, Judge. I'm not that smart. Please, please, please. I beg of you. I beg of you. I beg of you. I beg of you. Now, okay, when it comes to the big thing that Alvin Bragg is the one when it comes to the other crime outside of the misdemeanors that Alvin Bragg is probably going to be using to upgrade this to a felony, the big one that he's going to be using is probably, I'm going to be honest with you, it's probably the election interference one, because in New York, it is a crime to try to interfere in an election to stop a normal flow of an election to go through. Okay, that is illegal. Now, what grounds did Alvin Bragg have to be able to bring that case against Donald Trump? Well, it is Michael Cohen. And that may sound a little shaky, but Michael Cohen was actually convicted of of election interference and campaign finance interference in 2018. So if he did it and he's the guy who was doing it, it's very easy to say that the guy who he was working with, the guy who he's working with to commit that crime, is also culpable for that crime, and so this can be upgraded to a felony without Donald Trump actually being convicted of that crime. And this is the untested legal theory, but it's technically legal. It's technically he doesn't need to be convicted. The jury just has to simply believe that he was committing another crime for this to be upgraded to a felony. Welcome to New York law. Welcome to New York Supreme Court law, okay? And just so you know, when I say Supreme Court, I don't mean like the sort of like Supreme Court, like the United States Supreme Court. New York's federal court is just called the Supreme Court. Once again, another New York weird thing. They just love to be a little kooky in New York. That's just their thing, okay? They like to be a little silly. Yeah, New York trial court is called the Supreme Court. Just for they just like to have a little fun that way. Just like to be a little silly, okay? So don't get mad at them. Don't get mad at them. Don't get mad at them. All right. So this is the case against Donald Trump's case. All right. And if you've been paying attention, you can probably understand that there seems like there's a lot of outs when it comes to Donald Trump, doesn't it? There are a lot of things that his lawyers could argue to get him out of this situation. And there are a lot of things that his lawyers could argue to get him out of this situation. But there's one problem Donald Trump did not take into account when he was going into this trial. He took into account Judge Juan Merchan's massive $15 donation to Joe Biden. He took into account Judge Juan Merchan's daughter being a Joe Biden gagger. Okay, he brought into account like the fact that everybody in New York doesn't like me, and everybody is so mean to me, and all this type of stuff, right? But he forgot one thing: the fact that he's a dumb fuck. The fact that he is a dumb fuck. He forgot, and that was the critical mistake when it comes to this trial, and why he is now a convicted felon, is that he is a dumb fuck. And I'm not being mean, okay? These are the legal term. I'm only speaking in legal terms. His brain is full of trash, garbage, and poop, and there is no actual gray matter there. Because if you remember, what Donald Trump cares about when it comes to a lawyer is somebody who is a grade A gagger, a throat goat, and not a actual legal professional. He has the worst track record with lawyers since he's become president, and it has actually actively ruined his life. He is now a convicted civil rapist. He has all of these cases against him, and all of his lawyers are always garbage, because what he cares about is how well they suck and not how well they actually conduct law. Recently, mind you, another one of Trump's lawyers, this makes a couple, another one of Trump's lawyers had their law license removed. Jenna Ellis, this is one of his lawyers in the defamation and civil R-word case, okay, a little while ago. And also his lawyer, when it comes to the election interference lawsuits, the election fraud lawsuits back in 2020, she has lost her law license because of she actively tried to overturn the election and tried to help other people overturn the election for Donald Trump. She was so big of a Trump gagger. Okay, I don't even have to tell you about all the other peoples, especially during 2020 in Georgia, who lost their law license because of that. Release the Kraken. People remember that. If you remember that, give me a little octopus emote in the comment section, okay? Give me a little octopus if you remember Release the Kraken. absolute depravity. So many of his lawyers have lost their law license, all right? remember, there are so many cases where he's specifically come up and be like, oh, I can't believe the judge wouldn't let me do this, and it's actually his lawyer's fault. Well, this happened again too. Take a listen to this.
Vacation of business records were, and I said, what else are you going to call it? What else are you going to call it? Now, I would have testified. I wanted to testify. The theory is you never testify, because as soon as you testify, anybody, if it were George Washington, don't testify, because they'll get you on something that you said slightly wrong, and then they sue you for perjury. But I didn't care about that. I wanted to. But the judge allowed them to go into everything that I was ever involved in.
Yeah, so basically what he's saying that I would have totally testified if that little thing called perjury wasn't a thing. If I wouldn't have gotten hit for perjury, I totally would have testified, but I'm not going to testify. All right. He told court that he actually wasn't going to testify, and now he's like, I definitely totally did want to testify. I totally wanted to testify. You don't even understand how much testifying I would have absolutely done. It would have been so crazy. So crazy. Oh man. Oh, you don't even get it. On top of this, his lawyers actually did such a horrible job that it actually left other legal scholars flabbergasted while they were watching the case. Taking a listen to this. Team Trump has presented one of the most ill-conceived self-destructive defenses I have seen in decades of trying to analyze criminal cases, a legal scholar said. Rather than concentrating on refuting the weakest elements of the government's case, Trump's attorneys chose a contest of obvious true claims that had no actual bearing on his innocence. For example, they sought to disprove the prosecution's claim that Trump had engaged in an affair with Stormy Daniels, which subsequently reimbursed Cohen for buying her silence. Yet, neither of those actions are actually illegal. So, both of the things that they spent actual time arguing in court didn't happen. They're not even material to the case. They're not even illegal. He wasn't, just so you know, he wasn't put in court for fucking porn stars. He was in court for falsifying business records. No matter what he was falsifying those business records for is not material to the case. They weren't. And his lawyers were just arguing stuff that didn't matter. Why challenge that? Because his lawyers are stupid. They actually don't know what they're doing. It was such a massive waste of time. It was a massive waste of time. By fighting those hopeless battles, Trump's team gave the jury the impression that they were legally relevant. Put simply, the former president prioritized brand management and political messaging above legal strategy. In the face of Trump's bizarre and disoriented defense, an unbiased jury could easily have arrived at a guilty verdict. And this is something that you'll see a lot of conservative commentators talk about, is that, oh, the jury came to a verdict so quickly, it was less than 24 hours, it must have been totally a hit job. No, it's because he had no defense. I wish I was being hyperbolic, but I just can't. He had no defense. He had no defense. This case was going on for 5 weeks and he had no defense. His lawyers don't. I genuinely believe that if you told me that they were just Trump fans who were his like top single party donors, and he put all their names on a big comical like colorful wheel and spun them and then threw a dart, and whoever did it he was going to put in a suit and put in the court to defend him, I'm going to be honest with you, I'd believe it with how bad of a job these guys did, and how horrible of a job these guys did. I mean, take this, okay? So this is Blanche. Blanche is Donald Trump's head attorney when it comes to his defense team. He was asked by CNN, "Hey guys, didn't you have a bunch of witnesses that you could have brought up to the stand to be able to defend your case that would have made it a whole lot easier for you guys to be able to, poke holes in the government's position?" And this was his response.
When he was leaving, one thing he brought up were the witnesses who were not called. And he was saying that there could have been witnesses that would have helped make the case. We never saw Keith Schiller, Alan Weisselberg, some key figures here who got brought up a lot. Why didn't the defense call any of these witnesses?
Well, because we happen to live in America and we don't have the burden of proof. And so there's not, that's not the point. That's a question that is a loaded question that should not be asked of a defense attorney or a defendant. The question that we asked the jury, and they ultimately obviously got passed, is why the prosecution didn't call those witnesses, right?
Well, we live in America. You do, if I get to look at my lawyer, dog, I'm going to jail. Oh, wait, can you even imagine Donald Trump watching this on CNN? He's actually saying, "Look at my lawyer, dog, I'm going to jail." And like that's a joke. But this is the reality that Donald Trump actually lives in. Look at my lawyer, dog, I'm going to jail. Is he drunk? No, this is just how he acts. This is literally just how he acts. Okay? So instead of bringing up witnesses in the defense's defense to be able to prove his client's innocence, he just didn't want to bring anybody up because he wanted all of the witnesses to be brought up by the prosecution so they can control the entire case, and he'll just literally play defense the entire time. Like when he said that he was going to be on the defense team, he was like, okay, give me your best shot. He just went into court like that and thought that, yeah, I don't have to do anything. Like, it's their job. Like, what if that's the point, then what's the point of you being a defense attorney? Why are there defense attorneys? If the only person who has to do anything in court is the prosecution, then why the fuck are you there? Right? Like, if there's no defense, if like it's all the prosecute, it's only if the prosecution does a good job, he goes to jail. If he doesn't do a good job, he goes free. And that's just how it works. We don't have to bring up any witnesses. Then why would that work? Here's the real thing. Okay? Here's the real answer. The real answer. One, the lawyer is dumb as fuck. Okay? And two, every single witness that he could have brought up would probably end up 10 times worse for Donald Trump than he would ever wanted. Okay? There's no one that you could bring up on Donald Trump's side that would be beneficial for the defense, that wouldn't be probably twice as beneficial for the prosecution, because Donald Trump committed these crimes. We all know that he committed these crimes. Okay? We all know that he committed these crimes. It's just absolutely horrible. But actually, it didn't start there. I want to go over this Daily Beast article because it actually goes over some more important stuff that is just silly. This guy is an actual clown, okay? Actual genuine clown. This is Blanche right here. This is Donald Trump like, bro, you're fucking my shit up, dog. What the hell's going on, man? Starting with the opening statement. I'm not sure if you guys have ever kept up with like law or anything, but Blanche actually got an objection, a sustained objection thrown at him in his opening statement. This is almost unheard of, okay? Because you can say just about whatever you want in your opening statement, okay? You can say that my client is going to go to the moon and back in your opening statement. An opening statement in court is literally just you promising what the jury is going to see. That's it. That's all it is what the jury is going to see, what you promised to show the jury. He got an objection in his opening statement, and he's so bad at law that it was actually sustained. Todd Blanche, who managed to draw objections that were sustained by Juan Merchan in defense, stumbled out of the gate and just kept stumbling. It's incredibly rare for that to happen. Blanche managed to blunder this unusual problem only because he apparently tried to raise points such as advice of counsel's defense, which the judge had already rejected. Cross-examination of both counsel Todd Blanche and Susan Nichols then only worsened matters, each in their own way, and managed to bolster the prosecution's case rather than weaken it. Every time they opened their mouth, the prosecution got another thing to hit Trump on. It was horrible. It was genuinely horrible. So this is Blanche, the guy that we just saw, okay? Instead of using his questions in cross-examination to be able to surgically cut through the credibility of Michael Cohen, who once again is convicted of multiple crimes and of stealing from Donald Trump, he couldn't even make this guy look bad, okay? He couldn't even make this guy look bad. Instead of raising doubts about the particular aspects of the testimony, Blanche chose to apparently channel his inner Trump by literally yelling, "Liar!" when when Michael Cohen answered some of his questions, he actually thinks he's on TV. He thinks he's in a TV show. He's like he's doing he to prepare for this case. He actually played a bunch of Phoenix Wright. You a liar. He actually played a bunch of Phoenix Wright actual main character syndrome. You're so right. This is it. Yeah, this lawyer isn't lawyering. Phoenix wrong. He stood up from the bench, and the Judge Mershon was like, "What's going on? Do you have something to say?" He showed his lawyer badge. Yes, that's your lawyer badge. Please sit down. Judge, my ID. Ooh. Bland's closing arguments continued his ranting about Cohen's honesty, coming up with terms like gloat. He called Michael Cohen the gloat, greatest liar of all time. As you see, the kids would call him the gloat, greatest liar of all time. My jury. What up, my jury? Don't listen to this gloat. Do not listen to this gloat. Even the female lawyer there didn't do a good job either. She also completely stumbled this entire time and spent her time in cross-examination against Stormy Daniels, basically calling her a whore the entire time. Now, if you understand, okay, the gender relations in this country, usually in sex crimes cases, where you have to cross-examine a woman, you usually have a female lawyer do it because we all know the implications, as unfortunate as it is, the implications of a man questioning a woman when it comes to the troubles that she's gone through, especially when it comes to assault, sexual style. So you usually have a woman do that. And when you question and when you're on cross-examination with a female witness, you usually have a woman do that too, to help kind of cut through that kind of ease when it comes to the jurors just looking at what's going on. That's just how this works, unfortunately. So they had their female lawyer do it, but she basically called Stormy Daniels a whore the entire time, erasing all the credibility she could have gotten when all like the woman cred she could have gotten when questioning Stormy Daniels, making it even worse for them every time they open their mouth. And she didn't get anything of value out of Stormy Daniels either. Donald Trump's lawyers are genuinely the dumbest fucks I've ever seen. It always blows my mind how he's able to find such horrible lawyers. It's genuinely shocking to me how he can find lawyers that are so bad. In New York, dude. Besides filming rats dragging pizza slices into their holes, New Yorkers' second favorite pastime is suing people. It's like New York City is literally like lawyer mecca. Like, I'm pretty sure lawyers across the world have like a once in a lifetime free trip to New York to go have some fun. You know, it is lawyer mecca. Every lawyer wants to be a part of the New York bar, at least at some point, and he still can't find a good enough lawyer to defend him. It's truly remarkable, groundbreaking incompetence coming from the Trump administration. It really is. And it actually got even worse. Trump argues judge is preventing him from using defense his own lawyers declined to use. Remember when his lawyers in the in the document case, remember when Donald Trump complained that he didn't have a jury trial in the stolen documents cases from Washington and Mar-a-Lago, and people brought up the document that the lawyer signed, and they didn't check the box for trial lawyer. And they didn't check the box for criminal trial by jury. Like, it was literally a checkbox that all they had to do was check. They actually went on the TV and said, "Oh, it's not just a checkbox," and it was literally a checkbox. It was right there. Does your client want a jury trial? Yes or no? They didn't check it. Oh, my bad. There wasn't even a no. There was like, do you want a jury trial? Check for yes. And they didn't check it. They just skipped past it. And then Donald Trump was like, I can't believe I don't have a jury. And his lawyers were like, Trump claimed on Wednesday that he's being prevented from mounting an advice counsel defense. Okay, this is what I talked about earlier when I said that his counsel was too stupid, and that's why he can't be held liable for committing this felony, because Michael Cohen didn't tell him that this was actually illegal, that what he was doing was actually going to be illegal. He said that he wasn't able to make that defense, and his own lawyers told the court that he wasn't going to be making that defense before the trial even started. A formal advice of counsel defense would enable the president to argue that he was acting reasonably based on what his lawyers were telling him, and his lawyers didn't tell him that he could do that before the trial happened. I don't know how much more I can make it clear to you that this guy is just a definite, just grade A dumb fuck, but that's what I have to show you right now. This is hilarious. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it could have gotten any worse for Donald Trump. He really could have been able to get himself out of the situation, but his lawyers too dumb, his ass too stupid, his crimes too vast. He's a convicted felon. And will this stick in court? I don't really know when it comes to appeal. He obviously wants to appeal it. He's obviously going to appeal it. That's not surprising. That shouldn't surprise anyone. Obviously, all the maggots are in an absolute frenzy over this, but what they're going to tell you a whole bunch of things, but what they're not going to tell you is that Donald Trump didn't commit those crimes, because he absolutely did. And it's very funny. No matter how big of a hater the prosecutor is, you're going to see some people like, they were trying to do everything to prosecute him. Oh my gosh, prosecutor wants their defendant to go into jail. More at 11. More at 11. More at 11. Teflon Don. Somebody was using a metal fork, and we're all getting Teflon poisoning. You hate to see it. What a guy. They ain't sending their best. They ain't making lawyers like they used to, I will say. Yeah, maybe I will say Trump lawyers are because Donald Trump and friends were like, oh yeah, like the judge and everybody is on the Democrat payroll, dude. I think his own lawyers have to be on the Democrat payroll, right? They're the guys who have to be on the real Democrat payroll. Those are the guys who are actually. He's doing more work to put Donald Trump in jail than Joe Biden. He has one appeal as a right, which will likely get rejected because he has no firm ground to appeal on the appeals. To take his case again, maybe. I'd say they probably would want to take this case to specifically adjudicate if what Alvin Bragg did was like legal. Because once again, Alvin Bragg leaned on a whole bunch of untested legal theory. I would imagine that the New York Court of Appeals would probably want to be able to adjudicate that in either direction, specifically because Alvin Bragg had to stretch the case so far to get to a felony conviction. They probably would want to, and since nobody's ever done this before, they probably would want to try to, finally, get that done. Probably. That's just me though. Oh, also he's suing his niece. That's really funny. Twitch, do every Kim. We gotta talk about it sometime. The rampant TikTokification of every single media platform. It's just too much. It makes me kind of sick, if I'm gonna be honest with you. There is way too much TikTok. Every website wants to be TikTok, which is so funny because TikTok is the only big media platform that will never make money. Like YouTube could probably make money, right? They've gotten close to making money before. I think they have made money some months. TikTok has never made money and will never make money. I'm getting sad. Don't get sad. No. No, don't do it. Everybody wants to be TikTok man. Oh my gosh, it's homosexual month. Congratulations to all the homosexuals out there. Your month has begun. Use it wisely, for it will be over before you know it. $40 before game month starts. It's already begun here. Let the corporate pandering begin. Chat, do you think I should go to TwitchCon? I've never gone to a TwitchCon before. And I was thinking, I don't know, it might be time. Sorry. I'm freaking dying over here, man. At least just for the experience, no? Yeah, I want to see if I can crack my spine in the ball pit. I think that'd be kind of cool, right? The foam pit. The foam pit. Gotta experience it once at least, right? Like in Vegas. There was one in Vegas last year, right? Her Twitch got rid of the trust and safety department. Listen, Twitch hasn't been trusted nor safe in a long ass time, so that makes a lot of sense. They weren't doing their job. Maybe they're following the Elon pipeline. I'm just gonna say I'm glad that I divested from Twitch a while ago. I like Twitch. It's cool. I'm just kind of happy that it's gonna. I'm just happy that it's gonna be normal time without having to specifically rely on Twitch. I think that's a good thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. Has Twitch ever been trusted or safe? A lot of people are asking that question right now. A lot of people are asking that question. Oh, a lot of people are showing off their manga collections. I have just a small one. I have a small normal manga collection. Nothing crazy around here. Very normal manga collection. It's not even really like all manga collection, honestly. Like I have actual like reading material here. Oh no, dude. Gavin McInnes has chat. Gavin McInnes has, what might finally turn the tide when it comes to like conservative pop culture sort of personalities. Well, when it comes to pop culture personalities having conservative opinions, it might be the conservatives, especially the big religious conservatives, going completely crazy when it comes to their opinions on media. Remember how Matt Walsh came out and said that anime was satanic? Gavin McInnes, the founder of the Proud Boys, has come out to say that anime is actually pedophilic. It's that only pedophiles love anime, and that's why, and that's why like people want to. That's why they're drawn to like cuteness and stuff in anime, because they're all pedophiles. Actually, they're all PDFs. Died? Wait, what happened? Which manga was so expensive? Read a lot of mine on my tablet. Yeah, like $13 per volume is kind of, I mean, that's some cash right there. I'm gonna be honest with you. I gotta pre-watch this. I'm gonna have to pre-watch this sometime. We could talk about it sometime, because Gavin McInnes is well known for saying slurs constantly, and he put a dildo up his butt live on air. So I'm just really not sure what he's going to say. I'm really not sure what he's going to say. So I'll have to pre-game that one for you all, and then they'll bring it back to you for later. Okay, so internalized homophobia. He did stick that shit all the way up his booty hole while people were watching live on stream. It was so wild. I forgot about the dildo thing, but why did he do that? I don't know. I actually don't know the backstory, but and I also think it was a butt plug. Oh no, there was something he did. I actually have no clue why, but he threw that shit all the way up his butt crack, up his butthole. He hoisted it up there, man. He's just a weirdo. He's so peculiar. About all of. I still want to finish. I still want to finish Mob Psycho. I still want to finish my Mob Psycho collection. I have almost every English volume of Mob Psycho, but there's still a couple more. The girlfriend also apparently really likes Dan to Dan. She really likes reading Dan to Dan. It was surprising because I tried to get her into. She likes anime. I was like, it'd be good for you to read more. Try reading anime. Try reading manga, right? And she was like, okay. She didn't really enjoy reading any of it, but the only book I was able to get her to read was actually Dan to Dan. And I was like, okay, I'll just keep buying Dan to Dan volumes if you keep wanting to read them. Dan to Dan is great. Yeah, it was the only one that she really stuck with. I don't know. I didn't really get it, but sure, whatever. Yeah, she's definitely been enjoying it. She got to like 4 volumes. She stopped reading for a while. I have to push her to read it again. I talked about the anime because you talked about it. It's one of my favorites now. Really? Wow. Turbo Grandma? Turbo Grandma made it one of your top 3 anime? That is quite something. I heard it's pretty good. And I heard it also has like some questionable. It moves in some questionable directions. So we'll just have to see. Only started the manga because I was caught up with the anime back in the day. Hey, me too. I mean, yeah, I read the what's it called? I read the freaking thousand year blood war arc myself too. So yeah. There should be Netflix, but for manga. I'd gladly pay for a subscription service. Viz? Manga Plus? Both there already is. Viz and Manga Plus, both of those are literally exactly what you're looking for. They're right there. A library? That's true. You could also go to a library as well. Those exist. That is so funny. That's such a. I wanna write that down. That sounds like a really funny joke. I really. Some Gen Z kid came up to me and asked me if I thought it'd be super cool. I overheard a Gen Z kid talking about how cool it would be if there would be Netflix but for books. Bro, a library? A library? You ever heard of it? He went, yo, that's facts. That's facts. Shark, you're 25? You're right. That's why I can say Gen Z kid now. Because I'm technically not a kid anymore. I'm 25. This is like $3 a month. It's worth it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Do go with Manga Plus, not Viz. Viz, I don't know what it is. Viz's scans are actually doo-doo garbage. They're like poo-poo ass. I don't get it, but they're so bad. Viz's, they're bad. I don't understand it. It's actually a little shocking to me. I was actually kind of flabbergasted with how bad they were. They're really bad. Some of the scans are just so ugly. You as a Gen Z kid? Okay, fine, whatever. A younger Gen Z kid. Mellow Cello, thank you so much for the $20. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks for the love. That really does mean a lot. There's a decent donation too. So thank you so much for the 20. More Dandadan. More. I'll have to. I want to read. I have up to book 4 of Dandadan, so I want to get through this before I read the manga. Watch the anime. I personally like to read before I watch. That's just me. I'm a little nerd like that, I guess. Used to randomly pick up the first volume manga at the bookstore. That sounds like a good way to do stuff. I gotta be honest. I'd rather go with Manga Plus. Wait, chat, before we get into, because I want to get into some of the cope that happened, but I also want to tell you about while I was rotting in bed, somebody told me to pick up this one manga and I decided to read it a bit. And it actually went kind of crazy. I wanted to share it with you. This might be a little loud. I'm going to turn on some music. Forgive me. No, it's not too bad. Actually, I'm gonna put on the farm, the Peru farm. That's the one I want to listen to right now. Yeah, here we go. Better. Wait, what is this called? Heck. Manga Plus. Oh, also, I read all through Kaiju number 8. Very good. Kaiju number 8 is very good. I would say definitely check it out. It's worth checking out. I genuinely really like it. I am a huge fan of Kaiju number 8. Yeah. Big fan. Not many mangoes out there that have big monster fighting. Centuria. Okay. Somebody told me to pick up this thing. It's called Centuria, okay? This manga. It's called Centuria. Imagine how imagine, okay, Berserk. I know, crazy thing. Imagine Berserk, but slightly more lighthearted. Like ever so slightly more light. It's not all like doom and gloom. Okay? It's kind of it's a little raw and nasty like Berserk, but it's not as but it doesn't go as far into the pits of despair, I will say. All right? Basically, I would say definitely pick it up. The art is amazing. Centuria, okay? It's about well, I'll just read the summary. Stowing herself away on a slave ship, stowing himself away on the slave ship, Julian set sail for the great continent with 100 slaves, all yearning for freedom until ... embark on a groundbreaking journey through this action-packed dark fantasy saga. All right. So basically what this is about is that you follow the life of you follow the story of this guy named Julian. He was sold into slavery by his mom when he was young to a blacksmith, and he was forced to be like a blacksmith aide for like probably about a decade, something along those lines. He was sold off when he was incredibly young. His mom didn't care about him whatsoever. Took the money, didn't even look back when she sold him off. He was kept in a barn. He was forced to learn how to do blacksmith work. Every time he messed up, the blacksmith would heat up a piece of metal and torture him by burning him and scarring him all over his body with the hot metal. And so he's completely covered in scars. And so you always get to remember his life as a slave. He escapes the slave driver by beaming him over the head with a piece of metal. And he runs off and then stows himself away on a slave ship with 100 other slaves on it. And in order to escape, that has already set sail for the big continent, right? None of the continents have really been shown yet, but you know, they're on a small island. He goes off to the big continent, okay? All right. There on the ship, he meets the 100 other slaves. There's a pregnant slave woman who's there who will take care of him, and all of the slaves there were incredibly nice people who offered to help him and give them part of their rations so he wouldn't be killed and taken off of the boat because they didn't have enough money for another hungry mouth. Okay. I don't want to spoil too much of the first chapter because I think it's really cool. I didn't have the first chapter spoiled for me, so I won't spoil the first chapter for you. This is all like just you know, setting the groundwork for what happens, right? And he meets this incredibly kind woman, the pregnant woman. There is the only person who's ever been nice to him, and he builds a connection with her on the slave ship. And she talks about her life of losing her husband and also losing her firstborn son, right? And how she doesn't want to lose him as well, because she wants to help take care of him and in a way avenge herself for, in her eyes, being a bad mother by not being able to care for her first son, who was killed by their slave driver. Found family? Yes, indeed. Found family. Talking about Vinland Saga? Nah. So I guess it's kind of like Vinland. I guess it's a little like Vinland Saga. The art is incredible as well. Art's incredible as well. I don't really want to spoil. I don't really want to spoil much. You can take a look at this. Whoops. You can take a look at some of the art right here. Oh, come on. You're being annoying. One moment. Where is this? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. How did I lose it? I will say one thing about Manga Plus is that the chapters are garbage. Well, the like how the chapters are set up are so bad. Let me see. Where can I find this? They're working on the deck, and both of them go up to see the stars. Right. Here we go. Yeah, you can get a little peek of some of the some of the art. Forest and Myth, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. I really appreciate you. Thank you. I haven't gotten to catch a stream in a while. Hope you're making progress towards getting the Adderall. I am. I have a doctor's appointment on Tuesday. I had to take a little mental health break. Things were just getting a little too crazy for me, personally. But I do really appreciate you. Thank you so much for those 5 gifted subs. That means so much. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm doing the best I can. You see it in the art style, right? Okay. So I'm glad you get it. You get it. You understand. You're feeling it. You're feeling it. I can't I just wonder what I can show you. I'm trying to, like I said, I want to spoil the first chapter because it went in a direction that I wasn't expecting, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, this type of stuff. Yeah, it gets a little nutty. So Berserk-esque. I'm telling you, okay? I'm not like a media critic guy, but I think she is showing whole. She is up on a starry night showing whole. It's very scary. Very scary. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. It gets a little nasty, I will say. Here's another clip of some of the art that we can take a look at. Art is so beautiful. Yeah, it's really great art. You can spend a long time in these pages. Excellent double page spread here. So yeah, do you get what I'm saying? You're feeling me now? You feeling me now? But yes, I don't want to spoil anything, but basically, Julian goes on with his found family and his newfound sea powers to be able to take care of that found family, find out who he is. Find out who he is. Find out what it means to live a free life as a free person. He's never been able to live a life outside of being a slave in his entire life. So he learns that, protecting his newfound family and dealing with the new powers he got as a seafaring boy. And it's pretty interesting. I think there's one more picture I want to show you. Where is this? It lacks all context, so I highly doubt you'll be spoiled. All right, but it is definitely a crazy aspect. Oh yeah. Listen, okay, I will say if this one doesn't sell you, I don't know what one will sell you. Okay, here you go. Here you go. On the art style. Dog. Oh, it's actually a bear. I thought they were dogs too, but it's actually bears. Solid. Yeah, the art style is pretty crazy. Crazy things going on. Yeah, this is the first time. First time of them. First time being a comic artist. Sold. So there you go. Centuria is what it's called. I'd say check it out. It's pretty cool. Quite interesting stuff. It's not all sad, but it's super interesting. It's very interesting. The sort of themes that they touch on. Family is a big thing. So if you like stories that touch on family, if you like dark fantasy, all that type of stuff, then go ahead. Especially when it comes to found family, what it feels to be trapped, finding your place in the world, dealing with a cruel world. It sets up a lot of world building as well. Very interesting stuff. I'm so excited. This is going to break me. Ooh, I hope not. I hope it has like I hope it's like a dark fantasy with a happy-ish ending. You know, not too bad. I'd like to see Julian and his found family smiling at the end. There's 7 chapters as of now. That is true. There's only 7 chapters as of now. But once again, it's, you know, they're pretty long chapters. At least most of them are pretty long. The first chapter is almost 100 pages. It's 89 pages. So that just tells you how long some of these chapters are. Second one is 52 pages. The third one is 30 pages. And they hang around like 25 pages after that. Next one, 27, 26, 25, 26. So yeah, about 30 pages a chapter. First chapter, once again, like 80 pages. Kind of crazy. Well, this takes over for JJK since that's ending soon. That'd be cool. I mean, JJK might end this year. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really think so. I can see it ending like early mid 2026. Well, sorry, 2025. Sorry, early mid 2025. I can definitely see that. But yeah, I think Centuria is pretty good. Looks pretty cool. So yeah, let me put you on a little bit of hotness, chat. I know you guys like it when I put you on some hotness. So there you go. I think I have a pretty decent track record for being like not a big media guy. I think I got a pretty decent track record. What do you guys think? Gaki Akuda? I have never heard of that in my life. What is this? That my boy chained up. What the hell? I'll have to take a look at it sometime. It's pretty good. All right. To make sure we check it out. As a Bleach vibe, you would love it. Say no more. Say no more is exactly what I needed to hear. You should have said that at the beginning. Okay. Yeah, beautiful stuff. Yeah, Kaiju at number 8 is really good. I'll say it once again. Wild Strawberry. Check it out. Imagine if COVID-19 was a flower. I know, sounds a little wacky, but I think Wild Strawberry is really good. It's giga slept on right now. It's rare to see a political streamer with good media takes. I think the fact that I don't watch much media is what allows me to have good media takes, you know? I feel like a lot of people, after being big media consumers, they become jaded, you know what I mean? They become a little hollow on the inside. Because that's, you know, after watching especially bad media, people who don't like curate the media that they watch, I feel like it can do bad things to your heart. And that's a problem. That's a problem. I think it can hurt you. So none of us have seen a TV series in years. I've watched a couple episodes of Smiling Friends. And to prove it, That's a little figure of me, Alan. I want you to have it. There you go. Proof. I've watched it. The nostalgia critic on the episode, they are just actually YouTubers at the end of the day, so that's not surprising. That part's not surprising. But okay, I'm gonna call it here for tonight because it is now 2 a.m. and I want to be able to, and my sleep schedule is already bad enough. Let's pick it up again with the cope that ensued afterwards, because I got like 80. I got so much cope that we can go through that it's going to blow your dang mind. You will genuinely be flabbergasted with the amount of cope that I've been able to pull out for this one. It's the cope is horrible, right? It's genuinely mind-boggling how bad they're coping right now. Oh, wait, I'll leave you with one thing, okay? I'll leave you with one thing because
100%.
This one's too good. Take a look at what happened on Tim Pool's stream the other day. Well, actually today.
I'll put it this way. Should Democrats be in jail? No question. When Donald Trump gets elected, should he start locking them up? No question. Should there be lists of Democrats that need to go to jail? 100%. The reason for that is they've committed crimes. Yeah. We need to make sure that when Donald Trump wins, we've got an attorney general, a deputy attorney general, a head of the CIA and the FBI. Kash Patel would be fantastic. We can have attorney general. There's some names floating around. And then they can start having their investigators and the feds issuing subpoenas, pulling up evidence, and with real evidence, bring them to judges for warrants. Then these people can spend three years of their lives fighting tooth and nail for the crime against the government for crimes they committed, and we can prove. Yeah. And the reason why
is it a cosplayer? Yeah, he cosplays a guy with hair. That's why he wears a beanie so much.
Why we put them on trial is that we can show the whole world we will uncover what you've done. We will make sure everyone knows, and you will be held accountable for it.
Not just jail, they should get the death penalty. You know, we actually used to have the punishment for treason in this country.
Oh, God. Oh, no, we can't do this. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. See, actually, we should abuse the legal system because Democrats make me mad. Actually, I think we should kill everyone we don't like. Fucking extreme. Thanks for watching. See you later, dude. Tim Pool is such a fucking idiot, man. It's so funny that every single time he brings somebody on, they call for killing his political opponents. It's so weird how that keeps happening, isn't it? It's so how does that happen? It's so strange. Can it possibly be because of the people who he follow, who he like keeps around, and it's like, huh? Who would ever know? Who could ever see this coming? Oh my gosh! And everybody, I appreciate you. God, got the fucking stream, got it. It's crazy how nobody else has to deal with this problem besides him. So weird. Well, take care, everyone. Hope you have a good one. See you next stream.